Good evening, good evening, good evening. It is the radio guy, Mike Prince. Welcome to the Sunday Night Live show, the Sports Report Live, coming to you right here from the studios of the Open Mic Broadcast Network located in Prairie View, Texas. Big weekend for the Panthers as they roll over the Dragons. Huge games throughout the Southwest Athletic Conference and the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. Some wild high school games and a whole lot more. We'll talk about that and some more on tonight. Our special guest for tonight will be the head football coach of the FAMU Rattlers, Shotgun Willie Simmons. Of course, we'll hear from Johnnie Football Cole as he breaks down our SWAC game of the week, which featured the Texas Southern Tigers and the Southern Jaguars. I want to thank our sponsors for tonight's show. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, located at 1047 Austin Street in Hempstead, Texas. His phone number is 979-826-8008. We also like to thank Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, located at 3019 Waller Street in Waller, Texas. That phone number is 936-931-3696. And for those of you who are challenged with attack from the causes of diabetes on your skin, whether it's eczema or just simply plain old dry skin, you need to give Diva Skin Conditioner a shout. They're located at divafeet.com. That's D-I-V-A-H feet.com. And you can get a money-back guarantee. That's how confident they are in their product. Give them a call today at 903-270-0026. And with all that being said, we might as well jump into tonight's episode. A huge day it was for the FAMU Rattlers. And we'll be having Coach Shotgun Willie Simmons come up here very, very soon as we sort through the day that was in collegiate football. They had to move that game back due to inclement weather. And what a game it was. It was an overtime victory for the Rattlers, 34-31. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show, coming up in a very few minutes, as a matter of fact. But I want to give you some recaps from this weekend's high school games and some wild games it was, too. What if I told you you scored 70 points in a football game and you still end up with the loss? That's exactly what happened to Cypress Lake. They were in a flat-out shootout between Tomball Memorial. They came up short by the score of 73-70. Go and figure that. Hempstead fell short to Hitchcock, losing by the score of 24-20. You had Anderson Shiro victorious over New Waverly by the score of 40-7. Smithville 44, Royal Falcons 6. And you had Giddings over Belleville by the score of 30-16. Waller had no answers for Magnolia West. They lost by the score of 49-20. And Magnolia fell short to College Station by the score of 48-24. Lufkin 55, Tomball 22. Somerville fell to Flatona by the score of 28-0. And you had Chilton School victorious over Iola by the score of 34-12. And last but not least, Brenham 21 and Elgin 0. So those were your high school scores from the weekend that was throughout Waller County and abroad. I want to remind you that our website, of course, is at obnradio.com. Our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram handles are at The Mike Prince Show. And we also have the YouTube channel at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. I'm going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to try to get Shotgun Willie Simmons on the line here to get our show started off. Keep it where you got it, and we'll be right back.
One voice. It can get the point across, but it only carries so far. Add a voice. It's richer, louder, but that has limits too. Add a third voice. It's even more powerful. Add another, and another, and many, many more, and we are stronger than ever. That's the power of a community coalition. They help community groups, faith groups, civic organizations, PTAs, employers, and many others in your community organize their resources and focus them where they're needed most, like fighting to keep kids away from drugs. Ask a group that you belong to if they should belong to a community coalition. It's easy to get involved. Visit helpyourcommunity.org and they'll tell you exactly how your group can help. That's helpyourcommunity.org, because you get more when we get together. Brought to you by the Office of National Drug Control Policy and the Ad Council.
After my first car accident, I feared the biggest damage would be to my wallet. I expected a mountain of bills and a long, drawn-out process. But my Texas Farm Bureau insurance agent was there when I needed her and helped me get back on my feet and in my car in no time. Instead of a hassle, I got reassurance and a quick recovery.
Call Agent Jeremy West at 936-931-3696 to see if you qualify to save up to 40% off your auto insurance.
Coverage and discounts are subject to qualifications and policy terms and may vary by situation.
And welcome back to the Sports Report Live. Radio guy Dr. Mike Prince here with you. As I promised, we got a special guest for you right now. Fresh off the victory, and I guess it's safe to call it an upset because they were number 10th ranked in FCS, number 1 in the MEAC, but number 2 took care of business. And they say in order to beat the man or become the man, you got to beat the man. And that's exactly what happened on tonight. We're going to introduce some and present the others. Shotgun Willie Simmons. How you doing, my man?
Oh, man, I'm still coming down off this high.
Still coming down off the high, and deservedly so. Deservedly so. You give us, man, a recap on everything, this thrilling overtime on a Sunday, as a matter of fact, because of the weather and the tropical storm threats. All turned out well, exceptional day with exceptional results. So go ahead and give us a recap, sir.
Yeah, another great ball game. Number 1 team in black college football, top 10 team, depending on who you're asking. 14th, I think, in the latest polls. North Carolina A&T came into town, rivalry game. It's a game that we won by 1 point last year, so they had revenge in their minds. And it was a heated game. A lot of antics before the game, at halftime. Lost our defensive coordinator for the second half, and lost our starting quarterback, I think, early in the fourth quarter. But the guys fought. They found a way to win, and for the 5th time this year, our guys found a way to put it out in the end. So just a testament to their character, to their resolve, to their belief, in our motto this year, which is fight to finish. And those guys will continue to fight every ball game, and we find a way to win when it matters most. Not always the prettiest, but we'll take it. And 6-1 overall, 5-0 or 4-0 in conference play, and just happy to be here. And a lot of football left to play, but we really definitely want to celebrate this big win tonight.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, before we go any further, what's the status on Ryan? For those who are not aware, you did make mention in your recap that your quarterback took a spill in the fourth quarter. What's his status?
Well, got tackled and came down on his shoulder, throwing shoulder. So I think it's an AC sprain, which, if anyone has had that injury, it's really more of a pain tolerant. So he tried to tough it out, for a few series, but, at a certain point just couldn't go. And so we made the decision to pull him and go with the backup with Sean McKay. And he came in, and after a little bit of a rocky start, made a big-time throw in overtime to Marcus Williams to win the game. So, but that's what, next man up mentality is all about. We've had to do that all year with Chad, our starting receiver, Chad Hunter, going out. Our starting corner, Herman Jackson, being out for the year. One of our top running backs, Eddie Tillman, being out for the year. And the guys who filled in have just done a phenomenal job. And it's a marketable growing program when you have quality depth across the board at many positions to be able to keep, the production when your penciled in them starters go out.
Absolutely. Now, McKay comes in. He's 2 of 4 for 50 yards, but more importantly, he gets the touchdown pass on 3rd and 9, which drew some controversy. They had to review it, but as a result, it was a win for the Rattlers. He's coming in. What do you say to him when you send him out there under the pressure, intense moments like that, Coach?
Well, the biggest thing is, you prepare for those moments during the week. And Coach Black, of course, KJ Black and the job he's done with quarterbacks during his tenure or time as a quarterbacks coach, he prepares those guys. And, when Ryan, we made the decision to pull Ryan, it wasn't really much to be said to Rashawn. He was ready, and he's the kid that stays ready. And I knew that he'd come in and do a good job. He's played some early games this season against Central Florida and against Fort Valley State. So luckily we were, able to play him early in the season to get him some game reps. And so he wasn't too rattled, came in and did a phenomenal job for us in the fourth quarter in a pressure-packed ball game.
Absolutely. Stanley was off to another stellar performance, 14 of 24, 220 yards, 2 touchdowns. And you talked about the impact of KJ Black and his arrival there. It has been a big dividend that has showed and paid off for you this early with his arrival, right?
Oh, no doubt about it. And again, when we had an opportunity to get him, I had to jump at it. We lost our running backs coach midway through training camp, and to be able to steer him away from Prairie View at the last minute and bring him back to his natural, passion, which is coaching quarterbacks, was a blessing to us. And since he's been here, you see the play of our quarterbacks. Ryan has set the all-time passing record at the school. Right now, probably is the player of the year in the conference. Probably up for, if Black College Player of the Year right now. And just doing a phenomenal job with those guys. We're leading the conference in passing yards right now. The top 15 in the country in passing yards per game. That's a testament to the job that he's done. You got to excuse all the loud noise.
Hey, I hear somebody all still revved up from the game, it sounds like, man. That's all right. That's all right. We're talking right now with Shotgun Willie Simmons, victorious over the North Carolina A&T Aggies, another tough fought battle for the Rattlers. Now, Coach, there's no secret that you came in. There's a dark cloud that's been hanging over the program, where financial stuff and all this other stuff. How have you managed to keep this thing blocked out and stay focused on the X's and O's on the field?
Well, one thing we did, we took a model this year, and I don't want to take credit for it. I kind of stole it from one of the best coaches probably the best coach of our generation, Nick Saban. He has a phrase that he coined, which is be where your feet are, and simply that means you focus on the moment, you focus on the things that you can control, and move from there. And that's one thing we talked about when the ruling came down about the postseason ban, and we just told the guys, hey, we can't control that. We just got to control what we can control, and that's how we play, how we approach every day, and those guys are really taking heed to that. We didn't lose anybody after the ruling. All those seniors were committed to being here at Florida A&M and finishing out their career on a positive note, and we've had phenomenal leadership. You talk about Ryan Stanley, Elijah Richardson, DeMontre Moore, Terry Jefferson. I mean, the list goes on about the guys who've really taken a leadership role, and it really reminds me of that first year at Prairie View. We had those great leaders, Courtney Brown, Glenn Hazley, Denzel Lewis, and those guys, Brandon Medina. And any great team you look at, it's going to have great leadership. And I think that's one thing that this team has, more so than maybe last year's team and some of the other teams I've been a part of.
Absolutely. Now, Jennings, you were held to 76 yards. Jennings had 58 of those yards, but they were timely runs when you really needed them most for him to come through with those 58 yards.
Yeah, it really was. I thought Terrell played a phenomenal game. He had his first fumble that we lost, but other than that, I thought he ran extremely hard. Had some big-time runs there, and he's really growing up. He started training camp as a number 6 running back, and we lost Bishop Bonnet last week to South Carolina State, our starter. We lost Eddie Tillman, who was our number 2 back for the year with a hip injury. We moved Ricky Henrillis over to defense. And so, for a guy that started training camp as number 6 to be the starting running back right now and to run the way he had is, again, testament to him. He was a guy that had some mid-major offers coming out of high school. We were fortunate enough to get him out of Jacksonville, and he's going to be a big-time player for us. And to show up the way he has in games against North Carolina A&T, South Carolina State, games like that really shows his ability to be a big-time football player, and we're really blessed to have him.
Absolutely. We're speaking again with Shotgun Willie Simmons live from elated Talladega. Oh, my good. I can't even man, help me out. I'm all tongue-tied right now. Tallahassee, Florida. I am so tongue-tied and everything. Well, look, man, these guys are doing what they have to do. You and I spoke off the record about, hey, man, you're going to have to set the standard this season with everything that you had looming, that even though you can't go and officially represent, everybody going to have to look to their left or to their right to say, well, we had to go through FAMU. So far, so good.
Well, that's the goal. Again, we have a standard here at Florida A&M. This is one of the most storied programs in all of HBCU football. You mentioned the legendary programs. I mean, you can't talk about them without mentioning FAMU. And that's something that when I took the job a year and a half ago that I was committed to bringing back. And these guys have really bought into that. We focus hard on establishing our brand, our identity of who we are, and we really believe when we take the field that we can beat anyone. And that's the belief that these guys have. And I think that's why you've seen them be able to finish games the way that we have, because we feel like if there's time on the clock, we have a shot. And these guys just keep playing. They keep believing. And that's a sign of not only a championship football team, but a group of young men who will go on to be successful in life because they understand the commitment that it takes to be successful.
Well, I got to ask you this question because it appears that you might be setting a trend, and sometimes coaches can set trends without even realizing that they're setting them. You inherit a Prairie View team that was in pretty good shape, but were still trying to find their way. You inherit a FAMU team that was not in better shape as Prairie View, still trying to find their way, but you finding ways to put it together. Is this becoming part of your niche?
Well, I think I get a lot of the credit that's not deserved. I feel like my role as the head coach is just to set the tone. Of course, my assistant coaches, they reinforce that. And then it falls down to the leadership with the players and trickles all the way down to the team. And I think that's something that we've been able to do. We were able to do that at Prairie View, set a winning tradition there, 3 straight winning seasons. Only the second time in 50 years that had been done. And then here, have our first winning season last year in 7 years, and then to come back this year and solidify our second winning season. Again, something that hasn't been done in a very long time. But again, it just goes back to the little things that it takes to be a winner, and that's developing championship habits in everything that you do, not just on the football field, but in the classroom, and study table, and your social lives. Those good habits tend to follow you everywhere you go, and I think that's one thing that these guys are really buying into.
Talking again with Shotgun Willie Simmons live here on the Sports Report Live Sunday night programming for you here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Now, Coach, I got to ask you this question. This game was pushed back to Sunday, and usually you have a time frame if, weather inclement. Was there ever discussion about possibly not playing this Sunday and trying to reschedule the game?
Well, I'm not sure. Of course, whenever you have those type of decisions, when weather's involved, those decisions fall on the administration. They fall on the conference office. And I know there were heavy discussions on Friday about what to do with the game. And, the storm coming, then there was some discussions about possibly canceling the game, about postponing the game. And we didn't have a mutual bye week, before the season ends. And so if we had rescheduled it, it would have had to been after the regular season's over. And I think they decided that playing the game on Sunday was the best option. And I'm glad they did. We really wanted to get this game in. We still had a really good crowd today, even with the postponement, and a lot of fans that would have made the game on Saturday weren't able to come. But again, Rattler Nation showed up like they always do, really got behind this team and gave us the life that we needed at the end of the game in overtime to have a big stop near the end of the fourth quarter to force them to a field goal. And then, to hold them to a field goal in the first series of overtime, and for our guys to make a huge play for a game-winning touchdown. So I attribute that to the fans, to Rattler Nation doing what they've done really since I've been here, and that's to be the best fan base, not only Black college football, but one of the best in FCS football.
Well, now you missing somebody as far as giving credit, man, and you and I always go round and round about this, so I guess I have to finish it off. You got to give credit to that defense for showing up when they showed up.
Well, again, I have to give them all the credit. And, going into halftime, had some antics at halftime, which I think if you ask me and Sam Washington, the coach of A&T, it's really not indicative of the team that either one of us, wants to put on the field. We want to play it between the whistles on the field, and we allow the emotions to get the best of us. And a little scuffle there at halftime, which resulted in the ejection of 3 players from each team, as well as the ghost, Ralph Street. And he didn't make the second half. Got ejected from the game. And again, I can't say enough about that defense to go out without their leader and play the way they did the second half. Gave us some yards, some plays, but they buckled down when they needed to, held those guys to some field goals, and did enough to preserve the win for us. So again, that's a testament to what he's built. And even when he's not out there to coach them during the game, they stay true to their form of who they are. And it allowed us to pull off a huge victory for this program.
Okay, a huge victory it is. Now, you got a short week. So, with this blessing comes a slight curse. You got Morgan State coming in and then Delaware after that before you take on Bethune-Cookman. How do you readjust your scheduling for this short week?
Right.
And how do you present and prevent your guys from not looking past these next 2 opponents?
Well, we're going to give them tomorrow off. They always have a day off during the week, which is the NCAA mandate. And so they're going to have tomorrow off, to kind of rest and relax and get caught up on some academic stuff. And then we'll come back to work on Tuesday. And we'll lose one day of preparation. But, again, these guys have earned it. They deserve it. And I think they'll continue to be dialed in, focused in, because they know what's at stake. And they know we can't take anybody for granted. This is a great league. It showed last year. Morgan State beat A&T. They played some really good football this year, even though their record doesn't reflect it. And so we definitely have to know going into their backyard that we have to be on our P's and Q's. And so these guys will be dialed in like they always have been. We'll get back to work Tuesday, preparing for the Bears, and we'll go up to Baltimore, Maryland with a good game plan, and hope we can continue to play at a high level.
Now, are you still going to leave on your regular scheduled time for that trip?
Yeah, we'll leave on Friday. We'll fly out there on Friday. Keep the same schedule. Again, we'll just lose one day of preparation. But, a lot of times you do that. Some teams play on a Saturday, then turn around and play again on Thursday. And so, we're used to having to adjust our schedule for short weeks. And it'll be no different this week. And so we'll get the guys off tomorrow. We'll prepare Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Do a little bit on Friday once we get to Baltimore. And the 4 days of preparation should be enough. That's typically what we get anyway. We may just have to extend it a little bit, do a little bit more on Friday than we typically do. But this is a mature group. They play together for a long time. They believe in what we do. And if their practice habits a bit will be an indication, I think, again, we'll be ready to go come this Saturday against Morgan.
Well, the Rattlers, they take care of business. They go 6-1 overall. More importantly, they go 4-0 on top of the division, which could be setting a collision course for the end of the year match between the Wildcats of Bethune-Cookman. They too are at 4-0, and they're 6-1 as well. Coach, I know the guys are still excited. I can hear it all in the background. Thank you for making yourself available on this evening. And as custom, we're going to give you some closing thoughts and comments, sir.
Well, again, it's just a great time to be a Rattler. A lot of excitement around the program right now. A lot of great things going on at Florida A&M. Earlier this year, we received our ranking as the #1 public HBCU in the land again, something that we're extremely proud of. These guys are continuing to do it on the field, in the classroom. We got guys that have graduated already, working on multiple degrees, just doing phenomenal things, community service, really just having a well-rounded experience. And that's what it's really all about. I think the lessons that they're learning on the field will directly impact them, when they leave FAMU. And that's really what the goal is, to prepare these guys for life after college. We have fun winning games and especially winning games like this and keeping everyone feeling good about themselves. But it always goes back to the #1 thing, which is prepare these guys for life. And I think that's what we're trying to do here. And I think we're doing a pretty successful job of doing that. And we'll continue to do it. Hopefully the habits that we develop every day will continue to show up on Saturdays, but more importantly, show up when grades come out, in December, and continue to show up, once these guys leave FAMU and go on to be future leaders of tomorrow.
Well, my brother, thank you very much. Once again, congratulations, Shotgun Willie Simmons and the FAMU Rattlers, as you can hear, on cloud 9 right now. And don't even try to come down, brother. Don't even stay there and stay focused and finish what you set out to do.
Well, we'll stay true to our 24-hour celebration rule. we'll celebrate it tonight. The guys will be up ready for class tomorrow morning. Coaches will be back hard at it tomorrow in the office, game planning for this week's game. And we'll just try to keep this thing rolling. And appreciate you always for following us and supporting us. And, again, just I can't say enough about this group of guys that I get to coach every single day. They continue to make me proud, continue to surprise me every day, and continue to make Rattler Nation proud. And, again, that's really what it's all about.
Absolutely, my friend. Well, look, man, you be safe out there, and we'll talk to you real soon, all right?
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Shotgun Willie Simmons and the Rattlers taking care of business, knocking off what some would say number 1, but others had dubbed at least number 10 in FCS play. Needless to say, they took care of business. And with that being said, it is a job well done and a well-deserved time off for those young men as they get ready for their next opponent. We're going to take us a quick break, and we'll come right back with more of the Sports Report Live right here from the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Keep it where you got it, and we will be right back. Are you one of the many Americans that deal with the effects of diabetes? Diva Skin Conditioner could be the remedy that you need. Diva Skin Conditioner is a formulation that was designed with you in mind. Diva Skin Conditioner comes with a money-back guarantee. That's how confident they are in their product. For more information, visit divafeet.com. That's D-I-V-A-H, feet.com. Or you can speak with a representative by dialing 903-270-0026. Let's face it, from time to time, we'll have a need for an attorney, whether it's the case of a DUI, DWI, or any other circumstances that would find you on the other side of the law. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, located at 1047 Austin Street, is the one to call. Attorney Lee Van Richardson and his staff are equipped to help you get through your legal battles. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, 979-826-8008 in Hempstead, Texas. And welcome back to the Sports Report Live. We just heard from Shotgun Willie Simmons in our first segment, and you could hear that everyone is on cloud 9, and deservedly so. Huge win, overtime win over North Carolina A&T, 34-31, as they were able to secure the top spot in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, and that is not always an easy task to do. And, man, they did that thing. They truly did that thing. We're going to hear from Johnnie Football Cole later on in tonight's broadcast, but what we're going to do, we'll try to give you these standings as they're looking right now in the MEAC. FAMU on top at 4-0 in conference play. Bethune-Cookman's at 4-0. North Carolina A&T drops to 2-1. South Carolina State 2-1. 1-2 are North Carolina Central and Howard. And then you have Norfolk State and Morgan State at 1-3. And Delaware State at 0-4. The next two opponents for the Rattlers would be Morgan State and Delaware State. So you don't want those guys to, as they say, lose their edge, if you would, as they get ready for the next battles that go around in the world of the MEAC. Prairie View A&M University was able to take care of business in their homecoming festivities. The non-conference opponent, Virginia Lynchburg, winning by the score of 51-0. 13,000 reported to show up on the campus for homecoming festivities. That's always a good number to see. As we go through the standings now for the Southwestern Athletic Conference, Southern University with their win over Texas Southern jumped to 3-0 in conference play. Arkansas Pine Bluff 2-1. Prairie View's at 2-2. Gramblin's at 1-2. And Texas Southern's at 0-3. That is representing the western side of the conference. Alcorn 3-0 in the East. Alabama State's 2-1. Jackson State with their win over Mississippi Valley, and that was a grinder as well. 1-1 are their record now. Alabama A&M is at 1-2, and Mississippi Valley is at 0-3 in conference play. Now, some of the scores that came about in the MEAC, of course, we had Bethune-Cookman 35, Norfolk State 22. 24-10 was a score for South Carolina State over Morgan State. Congratulations to Coach Buddy Pugh for coming the most winningest coach in Division 1A FCS football. He also had Delaware State falling to Merrimack by the score of 30-21. And, of course, the game of the week in overtime, FAMU 34, North Carolina A&T 31. In the world of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, some not too many games on the slate on this weekend, but a thrilling game was between Jackson State and Mississippi Valley. That game went into overtime. Jackson State, of course, victorious 31-28. And, of course, I could hear Miss Sonja Stamps with JSU, the I Love, dancing and prancing all over the place. Of course, we mentioned Prairie View 51, Virginia Lynchburg 0, and Southern University. And what some were surprised that the battle was what it was, but they were victorious over Texas Southern by the score of 28-21. So that is what the weekend looked like in the world of the MEAC and of the SWAC. And I might as well be true to myself and let you guys get an update of tonight's football game between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys. It is now 27-10. The Cowboys are on top. What we're going to do, we're going to take us another break, and when we come back, we'll have Johnnie Football Cole to talk with us as he gets ready to break down our game of the week from the Texas Southern perspective. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back with more of the Sports Report Live right here from the Open Mic Broadcast Network in Prairie View, Texas. Looking to expand your business or services? Let the Open Mic Broadcast Network help lead the way. With our customized campaigns, we are definitely able to reach your target audience. For more information, dial 832-213-8824. The Open Mic Broadcast Network, serving the community through faith and athletics. The voice of student athletics.
As a dad, you'll probably spend years teaching your son how to hit a baseball, how to throw a tight spiral and hit a receiver, how to spring off a diving board and hit the water, how to hit a 1-wood and a 9-iron, how to hit the bullseye, how to hit the strike zone, hit a jump shot, hit the open man, hit the hockey net, and maybe the most challenging of all, how to hit the books. But the question is this: how much time will you spend teaching him what not to hit? Teach your son early and often that all violence against women is wrong. For tips on what to say, visit endabuse.org. Brought to you by the Family Violence Prevention Fund, the Waite Institute for Violence Prevention, the Ad Council, and this station.
If you could do one thing to make an impact on the things that matter to your family, your community, and your country, wouldn't you do it? That's what voting is all about. An easy way to make a difference. Register, learn about the issues and candidates, and vote this November. Your vote helps shape the future of America. Visit www.vote411.org to get started. This is a public service announcement from Open Mic Broadcast Network.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sports Report Live. Mike Prince here with you. As we heard from Shotgun Willie Simmons earlier, we're now going to move up north to D-Town area, where we had an eye on the spy checking out Texas Southern in the Southern game. Johnnie Football Cole, how you doing this evening, sir?
Hey, doing wonderful. Mike, how you doing?
Well, I'm doing good, man. All is well. Prairie View wins, even though it was Virginia-Lynchburg, but I'll take them any way they come these days. Some exciting football throughout the weekend, and you were in a particular place. You're going to tell us all about it, huh?
Yeah, well, I was there watching my alma mater, Texas Southern, take on Southern University in the Cotton Bowl and in the Dallas Classic, and it was a festival affair. They have it right there at the state fair, and we had a pretty good crowd on both ends. And most of all, it was a good football game. I think it surprised some people that Southern was doing so well, and right now leading the SWAC, and thought maybe since Texas Southern was winless that they would come in and put it to them. But I'm gonna say you called it. And then I supported you. That Texas Southern had a whole bunch of chances to win that game and could have won it. It was winnable for them.
Okay, and so with that, am I hearing some blown opportunities?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, Southern came in and turned the ball over twice early. And of course, when you turning the ball over like that, you got to be able to capitalize and put it in the end zone. They did a couple times, and offensively, Texas Southern was up and down the football field. And this week they had a different game plan. They actually ran the ball a whole bunch of times. And if Southern gonna go head on and win the conference, they're gonna have to plug some of those holes up because Texas Southern ran the ball, through them pretty much.
Absolutely. I'm looking now. Franklin with 17 touches, 110 yards, and a touchdown. But the guy that I was always, who I personally thought should have been your starter, displayed himself well on Saturday, and that's Devin Williams. I got a chance to call some of this guy's games through our network while he was playing at Blinn. He's an explosive guy, not the biggest guy in the room, but his heart is huge. It makes up for what he lacks in stature. Strong arm, and he can run that ball very hard. He threw for over 330 yards against Texas Southern. I mean, not Texas Southern, but Southern. How do you make an assessment on his performance on Saturday?
No, without a doubt, he was took control of the game. He scored 2 touchdowns. He threw some pretty bombs. He controlled the game pretty much, and I thought he had a fantastic game. But on the other side, Southern brought in, I don't know if he was second team, didn't start, but they brought in Watkins from off the bench, and man, he did a phenomenal job of throwing the football and hanging in there and taking some big shots. And he was able to come in and throw for 3 touchdowns. He threw 3 touchdowns.
Right, and that's McDaniels. He was 17 of 26, and he had 252 yards, as you mentioned, 3 touchdowns. Coach Oldham had been on record as saying that Skelton was his guy. Don't know if there was an injury or something going on with that. I'd have to look a little bit deeper into that. But it appears that Southern had the right answer to fill in the guy to be the next man up mentality.
Well, without a doubt, you got to have 2 quarterbacks in this wide open offense, with the RPO, the run pass option, because those quarterbacks are not used to running the football, so some of them will get hurt. The first team quarterback, I didn't really, get a feel for him the first of the game. He threw 2 interceptions real early up in the game, forcing things. One time he dropped back and got in trouble and just kind of threw it up in the air, hoping somebody make a play. I don't think that you can win or consistently win when you have that type of play from the quarterback.
Now, is it also true, Coach, that sometimes good teams have bad days? And not taking anything away from Texas Southern, do you think that could have been the case of Southern coming off a huge win, an emotional win over Prairie View, Then you come back, it's a neutral setting, and, we're still dealing with young 19 to 23-year-old minds, and they're like, oh, man, Texas Southern is XYZ. We're going to come in here and roll through these guys and have a good time at the fair. Do you think that could have possibly been some of the tone set for this past week's game?
Well, I would say that, and let me say this. Texas Southern is the best 0-7 football team I've seen. They've played people in the conference close. They got some pieces. We talked about Williams, the quarterback, and they got 2 wideouts. Really 2 or 3 wideouts. It's pretty good. But what I've seen that, Southern is going to have to get with their defense. They gave up a whole bunch of rushing yards. But that happens. Sometimes, if you come off of a big win and you coming in playing the 0-16, you got your classic things, and that can't happen. But that falls on the coach, because that's what the coach is supposed to do. You got to prepare, for that next week and get those kids' mind and body ready to play next week.
Well, one thing for sure, their mind and body is going to have to be absolute ready and on point, because they'll travel to the Alcorn State Braves reservation, and they'll play Alcorn this week. So they better be locked and loaded.
Oh, ain't no question. Because Alcorn is playing good football on both ends, offensively and as well as defensively. But hey, don't take nothing away from Southern. Coach Odom has done a super job there. They've always been right there on the top of the mountain. Not maybe on the top, but right there at the top in the conference for probably the last several years.
Yes, sir.
So he's running a great program, and these other schools gonna have to catch up on the west side.
Well, it's ironic that you would say that, Coach. Southern Nation gives Coach Odoms a hard time, man, because they stumble against Alcorn. And a lot of them were ready to change the locks on the brother, man, and say, go on, you done all you can do here. But I'm not saying this knocking any coach. If he was ever to be available, I think any institution would become better with having a Coach Odoms leading their program.
Well, let me say this, Coach. I had an opportunity to coach under Pete Richards at Southern University. And Southern football ain't just like everybody else football. Throw 11 people out there. Southern University depends on Southern football. That's part of their budget. That's part of their athletic budget. So it's bigger than life down there in Baton Rouge. And besides LSU football, then there's Southern football, and then there's nothing else. So the pressures at Southern is way different than any place else. I can remember a time when I, first started coaching there, and I'm sitting in my office and I see a line wrapped around the FG Clark Center. And I'm like, well, shit, what is this? I thought registration was over. They said, that's season tickets. So the mark of, or the challenges at Southern is not like the challenges at some of these other SWAC schools, because they school depends on that income. Not to run the school, but to help run that athletic program.
Well, isn't that the case for most of the institutions? Because football and basketball are their main money sources.
Well, you would think that, but some SWAC schools don't even have the 63 full scholarships.
Well, hold on. They don't. They not that they don't have them. They don't offer them. Would that be safe to say?
That would be safe to say.
Okay.
That would be safe to say.
Okay.
Let's say that. But they don't offer 63 full scholarships. They don't put the money into the athletic program like some other schools. It's no question that money wins football games. But is it money the only thing? No. I believe in a systematic way of doing things. You know what I mean? Because you can put money into somebody that don't have a system. That's like throwing money out the window. But at Southern University, they put the money into the program, and they expect to get some out of it.
Okay.
And so just going 7-4 and coming in second and third place, that just ain't gonna do it for them.
So, I know that historically they've had a dominating baseball program over Coach Cador, then Coach Jackson, who has happened to step in, and he's won it in his second year. So is this something that you suggest that other SWAC schools take a page out of their book and try to emulate, or what?
Well, without a question. I mean, today, when we as black school HBCUs understand that's what our counterparts or the big white schools done. They've put money into the athletic program. That's one place that head coach can get you 20, 30,000 people to come. More so than the dean of chemistry, or the dean of math, or the dean of arts and science. Football is the first part of the year. It's a draw. I mean, Mike, you remember when Miami, when they had Highsmith and all them, and they were going around the U.
Right.
You couldn't walk nowhere. And people don't even know Miami's a little private college. You would think that Miami got 50,000 students.
Right.
But they don't.
Right.
And Miami became Miami because of football. Notre Dame became Notre Dame because of football. Florida State became Florida State because of football.
And I know they wishing for those days back at all three that you just mentioned.
Yes, sir. Football. Go with Alabama, with Nick Saban. That's a different animal. Alabama expect their program to be up top. But see what Nick Saban do, also, or the athletic director, whoever controls the money, from that athletic department, they put money into the professors. They give them all raises. When they go to national championship, they take some of that money and put it back into the school.
Okay.
And see, we missed that window back in the 70s, 60s, and 70s. We missed that window when we had all the athletes. And the other thing that we missed to train our people to get back.
Right. Now, I think that's a huge missing part right now. Now, let me ask you this: with this portal thing, could it be the return of some of the good children coming back to these HBCU institutions?
Well, here's my point. I've been, you know me, I've been to about 5 different black schools and coach, or I should say HBCU schools. But when I look at Florida State and Miami, I'm an economist. What that mean? If it works for them, I'm gonna find out what works for them. It can work for me.
Right.
I think that our board of regents, not necessarily at Texas Southern, and all of them, should put some type of initiative that we hire our own people. I'm not saying 100%. I'm not even saying 75%. But at least 50% of that campus should be somebody who either graduated from that black school, HBCU school, or have some HBCU experience.
Well, what if you say
because people give money to people. They don't give money to buildings.
Right.
They give money to people.
So how do you counter when people say that's part of the problem now, because you keep hiring people who are attached to the university, whether they're alumni, emotional, somebody they know that gave them an opportunity, and they're saying you're bringing in unqualified people. And not that all people that graduate from these institutions are unqualified, but if it's part of the hindrance why you can't get that growth that you need. How do you respond to that?
Well, go find the people. There's plenty of them out there. It's plenty of graduates out there from that university or from another HBCU school graduate. And then we got to grow with some of them, too. We got to label them. And at the end of the day, if they don't do the job, go find another one.
Okay. So
here's the situation. Here's the situation. There's how many guys that graduate from HBCUs are head coaches at the Division 1A schools? 0.
Right.
All right. How many of them are coordinators? 0. How many of them are athletic directors? 0. They not hiring us. They're not putting us in positions of authority. So where do we learn how to do it at? At one time, Mike, in our conference, and believe me, Mike, I don't have a racist bone in my body, but I got right bones in my body. That we had over 10 Caucasian coordinators in our conference.
Okay.
In our conference. When they come to us, they either offensive coordinators or defense coordinators or assistant head coaches. When we, you see what I'm saying? When we go there, if we do get one in, we the running back coach or we the receiver coach.
Okay.
And I'm saying back in the day, and I remember when Eddie Robinson told me, he said, what's about to happen to black college football or HBU football? We about to let people run it that don't know nothing about football or our history. And I believe me, that has came true.
Okay. So when you look, let's just go through the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Okay. If I'm not mistaken, all the coaches are African American coaches. I don't know the extent of the OC and DCs in all the schools. Not right off the top.
You talking about in the SWAC or just period?
Well, let's start in the SWAC. Then
I think it's two Caucasian. I know one down at Savannah State.
Well, Savannah State is out the MEAC now, so they're gone. Right. They're gone.
Right.
So, as a matter of fact, Claiborne, I believe, or Claiborne, he was the head coach, but he's no longer there now.
Right.
Okay. Right. What about when I look at the MEAC and I look at the SWAC? Now, FBS, that's a whole different beast, a whole different animal. We know what that's like to begin with, which is why there was emphasis on building the brands that we know in the HBCU world. So if I'm hearing you correctly, and I don't want to be accused of putting words in your mouth or misinterpreting anything. That's why I say, if you want to know something, get an understanding. Are you saying that the FCS head coaching opportunities have dwindled away, or FBS, period?
Mike, I'm saying both.
Okay.
Look at the numbers. Look at the Southland Conference with McNeese, Sam Houston. I don't know if there's been a black coach in there in the last black head coach, and I might be wrong. It might be one in the last 30 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Look at you know what I'm saying? Look at the conferences. The only way that black guys are getting head jobs are in the SWAC, where black guys are getting offense and defensive coordinator jobs, especially from a black college graduate. It's in the SWAC, and we're not getting those, or the MEAC, or the CIAA, or the SIAC.
Okay.
We're not getting opportunities, but we're going out, bringing in 1A guys, and just look at the SWAC. Name me a 1A guy that didn't have no HBCU background, come in our conference and win our conference in 40 years that I've been dealing with the conference. Name one, because at Texas Southern, we always go out and get somebody and bring them in.
And you saying name one guy who didn't go to an HBCU?
No, I said, yeah, name one that didn't go to HBCU college and came in our conference and became the head coach and won the conference.
Hopkins? From Alcorn?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. And okay. I guess he when he did was.
Well, now, hold on. Make sure you let the audience know he was a Caucasian.
Yes, he was Caucasian. And what I was about to say, when he left to go to Southern Mississippi, Fred McNair took over, and Fred McNair went through hell and high water, and sometimes still deals with it from time to time.
Right. But he's won it. The coach at Grambling with the Grambling Knights has won it. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The guy at Pine Bluff is doing a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Easley from Alabama State is doing a good job.
Mm-hmm.
A&M just now with Maynard, who's a Winston-Salem. I think he's an A&T graduate.
Right.
He's doing a great job.
Right.
You see what I mean? But then look at Hendricks at Jackson State. He's struggling.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? Of course, our guys.
Or you saying so? Okay, I'm understanding you now. So you saying guys like Hendricks who didn't have the HBCU connection are struggling? Is that what you're saying? Hello? Oh man, did I lose him? We were right in the middle of talking with Johnnie Football Cole. We're gonna see if we can get him to come back on here. Got very, very interesting here, and that's what happens when you go live. We'll try to get him back on to see if he can be able to complete his thoughts and close his thoughts out. So while we're doing that, you are listening, and we have lost Johnnie Football Cole. Hopefully, he will get a chance to get back in before we have to have our scheduled time of departure. We're trying to see if we can get him back on the line. But want to remind that you are listening to the Open Mic Broadcast Network, the Sports Report Live. And we were right in the middle of a conversation with Johnnie Football Cole as he was talking about lack of opportunities. Okay, we got you back on the line. Okay, you were right in the middle, and I was asking you a question. Are you saying coaches like Ely, who didn't have the connection with HBCU, is why he's struggling?
No, Ely done. Ely,
right.
You know, he come from Morgan State.
Right. That's what I was going to say, because I thought he had an HBCU background.
Yeah. No, I said Ely is a good match. I mean, he's taking Alabama State and you know, from where it was, and he's making them productive.
I know what we was talking about. We was talking about Coach Hendricks.
Hendricks at Jackson State.
Right. What do you think his struggle is? What's the cause of his struggle?
Well, you know, once again, they don't know the struggle, our struggles as black college coaches. They don't know our systems and our programs, and they don't know our kids. Because, see, up on those levels, Mike, it's football.
Right.
It's come to practice, it's football. Oh, you ain't going to class, they call the counselor who has 4 or 5 other students or whoever working to follow them to class and make sure they go to class. They got coaches and resources. We don't have that. And they don't understand. So when you're a black college coach or HBC, you got to have passion about the players and the kids. And you got to know that I got to raise my sleeve up. And if I got to go down to housing, or if I got to go check classes myself, and I got to go check the dormitory.
So you're saying that the coaches become overwhelmed when they come from a cushy place. Okay. Yes. Now, let me ask you this. Now, you're a TSU alumni. You've had success.
Yes.
Do you think that's part of the challenge at Texas Southern right now?
No question.
Wow.
There's no question.
Okay.
And if you don't know that, and then now you're not doing well on the field, you're going to get frustrated.
Okay. Well, you're the expert when it comes to the coaching stuff. I didn't have the luxury of doing that. Well, look,
Mike.
Yes, sir.
Mike, I won everywhere I've been, and I know why I win. And it ain't so much that I know the X's and O's better than anybody else. It's more than X's and O's.
Now you know we all have naysayers now, and the naysayers are saying now Cole has won where he's been, but Cole also left some. Let me say, not skeletons or bones when he left the scene too.
Well,
so,
let me say this. Since Cole has left, every other school, every school have had the same violation. You know the difference is, see, when you somebody and you do something extraordinary, who wants to sit and talk about somebody that don't win?
Right.
Now let me bring this up. Now you said Hobson earlier won the championship, right? 2 championships. Look up Alcorn and the NCAA. They had the same violations. Ain't nobody said nothing.
Okay.
Just look it up. I want your naysayers to look it up. Google it. Alcorn NCAA violations. Same thing. Played ineligible players. Everything else.
Okay.
He's gone. But who wants to talk about a nobody? You know what I mean? The programs that I've been perennial losers for over 10 years. Tennessee State, we took over that program 9 losing seasons. Alabama State, 10 losing seasons. Lane College, 10, 20 losing seasons. Texas Southern, perennial loser. First coach in the history. So who wants to talk? Have I made some mistakes? Yes, I have. But some of those mistakes were already there. But no, let me say, most of them was already there before I got there. It's just that when you win, now you up on the shelf. Now you in the spotlight.
Right. As all Tupac say, all eyes on me, huh?
Right. But if you pull up, Mike, and I know where you got to go, right? We didn't come to talk about this.
But you know what? We're gonna set up a special show for this though, because it's very interesting and it needs to be discussed. And you know, I'm all for that. But I do look. We are pressed. Let me ask you this.
Let me say this one before I leave.
I
love Eddie Robinson. He had 68 violations at Grambling. Pete Richardson and Winston-Salem had so many violations, they just threw it out. You understand? This ain't like it's the first time. At the end of the day, Mike, and I'm going to let you go. If they want Johnnie Cole somewhere, Johnnie Cole would have still been there.
So if I'm reading the lines right, you saying Cole didn't have the support that everybody else had.
And they held me at a higher standard. But that's okay. God has always provided me a sandwich and helped me take care of my kid. So that's where I want to end it at.
Okay. Look, man, you know we're going to revisit this.
Yes,
and I'm pretty sure people are listening and buzzing right now, but that's part of this beast, man. We grab the bull by the horns and we deal with it. Look, man, we gotta pick a game of the week. We got Jackson State coming to Prairie View on Thursday night. That's going to be a 6:30 kickoff. We have Grambling will be taking on. Is that Pine Bluff, Arkansas? Yes, sir.
I like that one. That's going to be a good game.
Okay. Is that going to be your game? You ain't heard the rest of them. Texas Southern, Mississippi Valley, Southern at Alcorn, and Alabama A&M at Alabama State. You got to pick one.
Yeah, those two games are real tough. So that's determining the SWAC championship game, Alcorn and Southern.
And don't like you said, Grambling and Arkansas Pine Bluff is doing the same thing. So we're gonna let you pick me. No, man. I've been picking the last 3 weeks. We're gonna pick one this week.
Well, you got to go with Southern and
okay.
They the two big dogs.
Okay, then. Southern and Alcorn it shall be. Look, man, I thank you. I got to thank the folks that joined us on tonight. Shotgun Willie Simmons. We want to thank Johnnie Football Cole. We want to thank Attorney Lee Van Ritterson, Texas Farm Bureau Insurance, Diva Skin Conditioner, and we want to thank you, the listener. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. Until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.